KW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and myself, Will Bowling. Joined from the West Coast in the beautiful city of Los Angeles this morning, talking about Ernest Jones, the Titans' new inside linebacker. And she is Jourdan Rodrigue, covering the LA Rams for The Athletic. Jourdan, appreciate you waking up early with us over there on the West Coast this morning. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
We are great, and we wanted to go straight to the source on Ernest Jones and the scouting report on him and on and off the field. Been following a lot of your work about exactly who this guy is and what the Titans are getting. Jourdan, let's start on the field. What will Titans fans like about Ernest Jones, the linebacker?
Well, first and foremost, I think he's a really good fit in Dennard Wilson's scheme. I've been following along with Dennard and other coaches from that Mike McDonald family and trying to figure out kind of what it is, like everyone, what it is they're about to do. And, hearing that he wants to blitz a lot, Ernest Jones is one of the best blitzing inside linebackers in the NFL right now. And I think that that's going to be a situational asset. Now, he won't do it every play, obviously, but when those situations do come up, I do think that Ernest Jones is the type of player that you call upon in that situation. 4.5 sacks last year, just they had to blitz a little bit more. They were trying to get pressure with only one outside linebacker who was able to make plays for him. And obviously you have Aaron Donald, but he's getting doubled and tripled every play. So you need the pressure to come from somewhere else, and Ernest Jones was the guy that provided that pressure. Really solid tackler, really solid against the run. And he's just been steady for the Rams for 3 seasons. He's just kind of been steady right in the middle of the field. He's called their defense for them. So certainly someone who I'm curious to see how Dennard Wilson uses him, particularly in pressure situations.
Jourdan Rodrigue, covering the LA Rams for The Athletic, is our guest. So, Jourdan, off the field, I know there's that quote from Aaron Donald telling Ernest Jones, hey, this is your defense now when he retired. What kind of leader and voice in the locker room are the Titans getting in Ernest Jones?
Yeah, well, you guys are going to love covering this guy. I mean, it's funny, when he stepped onto the scene in Los Angeles as a rookie out of South Carolina, a middle-round draft pick, he seemed like, and I mean this in the best way, already like a 40-year-old, like parent of 5, like been in the school pickup line for years. Like he's been around. Like he's always been very mature. He's extremely vocal. He's very, very friendly. He was our good guy last year. Our media, Pro Football Writers Association, voted upon our good guy. They put his locker right next to Aaron Donald so he could learn the leadership traits from Aaron, the qualities that make Aaron Donald, who he is off the field, not just on the field. And he also was under Bobby Wagner's wing that 1 year when Bobby Wagner was a Los Angeles Ram and really learned habits and how to study from Bobby. And so he is one of those players who, I say this without hesitation, he was one of my favorite players ever to cover. I know we'll miss him as a person in Los Angeles. He's got a really beautiful young family, just got married, just had a baby boy, has a ton of dogs running around and likes to rescue animals and all of that. So I think that Tennessee fans are really going to love this guy.
And Jourdan Rodrigue
awesome.
Joining us this morning, senior writer with The Athletic. Jourdan, thank you for answering my DM yesterday. I was like, okay, we got to figure out what's going on, okay?
I appreciate that.
Yeah. With that being said, though, you say all these great things about him, and I know for sure that lines up, but I guess this fan base would hear you say that and say, well, why is he out of Los Angeles? Is there any insight you can give us as to why this trade happened for him and the Titans?
Exactly, and it's a great it's a really fair question, and there are 3 things at work here that are true all at the same time. One is the Rams are not going to pay him; they weren't going to sign him to a contract extension. The only linebacker they have ever paid is Bobby Wagner, and he was only here for 1 year, and it didn't quite work out the way that they hoped it would. So their team building model, they do not pay inside linebackers. They do not hold fiscal value for the position, although it does serve a super important role for them on the field. They told him that they were not going to pay him in the spring, and that they were going to let him roll out his final deal on his rookie contract. So that sort of sent a signal to other teams, first of all, and they were public about that as well. So that sort of sent a signal to other teams like, hey, maybe this guy we can, wait will they cut him? What are they going to do if they're not going to pay him? I mean, he's their captain, but if they're not going to pay him, Les Snead has a saying, if it is inevitable, make it immediate. And these other teams know that. So I think some of it was waiting to see if the price would drop a little bit. And then the other part of it is he had a knee issue in the spring, and he missed some time. And then it took him a little bit of time to come back. He couldn't really, actually work out or do football activities when he was recovering from that knee issue. And so when it was time to get back on the field, it was training camp. They had a new defense being installed under Chris Shula, their first-year defensive coordinator, and he had to catch up. And I think he is still a little bit catching up and onboarding back into full football activity, although he obviously is going to be able to come in and do that work on the field. But it's just there's a difference between getting on the field and then being, fully ready for a game if it started tomorrow, right? And in terms of that extra shape that you want to be in. And then also the third thing is these younger players on the team who are going to be on these longer, cheaper deals. Again, the Rams don't financially value the position. They started playing their butts off. They really saw a window and they started competing really, really hard. And the Rams were just glowing about this undrafted rookie from LSU, Omar Speights, who will not start right away, but they think he's going to start for them in the back stretch of the season. So all of those things at once, like I said, Les Snead has a saying, if it is inevitable, make it immediate, and that's what happened here.
Wow, that's super fascinating.
That's interesting.
Retweeted you yesterday, Jourdan, and you spoke about this in March as it pertains to Ernest Jones. So with that also being said, I speculated earlier, okay, this is just me saying, okay, if the guy that already knows he's not going to be paid, how serious is the knee injury? Did he decide to hold in and not practice? Because, again, I think it's $50,000 a day or something like that for holding out and not practicing, and he hasn't had the big contract like a Trent Williams with the 49ers or CeeDee Lamb, who knew the money was coming his way as a former first rounder. Do you look at that, okay, was it a serious knee injury, or was it just his way of saying, well, I'm a little dinged up and I'm just going to hold out until you guys figure out what's next for me?
Yeah, you always wonder that when this situation comes up. I will say I asked Sean McVay this directly in the spring of whether Ernest Jones' absence from the field at that time was due to the contract or whether it was due to the knee issue we knew he ended the season with. And Sean said, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here, but because I don't have Sean McVay's memory, but Sean said, that it was not due to the contract situation, that he was working through the knee issue, that he was trying to come back strong from that, and that Ernest has been a total pro with how he's handled the contract situation. And Sean McVay has reiterated that all the way to the end here, saying that Ernest Jones was a total pro with how he handled the contract situation specifically, because I think it's kind of rare that a team is so open and public about just saying, well, we're not going to pay you. We were told this on the record at league meetings, so I think when you see that, and I think the instinct could be, all right, I need to protect myself. But by accounts from Sean directly and on the record, this was not the case, that he really was trying to work back from that knee injury.
Jourdan Rodrigue, a senior writer for The Athletic covering the Rams in Los Angeles, joins us this morning on RK Dub. Jourdan, so when you talk about the ceiling for this guy, because he's 24 years old, soon to be 25, not even finished with his rookie deal yet, what do you feel like he could get to? Because I think some people here too are like, well, pump the brakes. He's not Fred Warner.
Yeah, I think, what we've seen from Ernest is consistency over the years. We haven't seen hey, you're going to be, the first or second best linebacker in the NFL. We've seen flashes of brilliance. Like I said, when you send him on a pressure, you see flashes of absolute brilliance from this guy. And the way that he can see the field and read the field, he's very, very good at it. I think that with his ceiling, what I'd like to see from Ernest is that he gets, kind of that fire. I think that when something like this happens to a player and kind of catches them unexpected, like I said, they just had a baby back here in Los Angeles, and you're kind of focusing on that and trying to, sleep and all those things that you're not, that you're not doing. I would go so far as to say he probably wasn't sleeping very much, trying to help his wife and take care of that young man. And you just want to see him kind of be himself again. because that knee and then coming back and pushing to work his way back in. First, you want to see him be himself again, because who he is can really help a team. And then after that, you see him be a captain. That's probably the highest compliment I can give Ernest, is that he's just a captain. He is through and through a captain of a defense, and I think that's going to be a pretty good ceiling for him in Tennessee.
And Jourdan, and speaking of that captain kind of role in the future and a guy that's a leader, we've heard so many things from you and some other people who have, covered the team, that's exactly what he is, wearing the green dot, because now they have another inside linebacker here from the Los Angeles Chargers they brought in Kenneth Murray, and he's kind of hitting the reset button in his career. They want him to play a little more free. Is this the guy who could wear the green dot and you'd feel comfortable with the communication aspect?
The communication, 100%. I would say I would like to see him stay on the field the entire time. Obviously, that green dot player has to be able to do that. So, like I said, I'm not trying to crown anybody as like, okay, you show up day one on campus and you are the dude right away, right? I think the terms of the trade kind of outline that for you, right, of kind of what the expectation of a ramp-up period will be. But once Ernest does get his feet under him and get on the field and get playing, he is somebody who you can trust with a green dot. He is somebody who can communicate. He has a way about his communication style where he's very clear to the point. He never demeans teammates. He never shouts. He never raises his voice. He always tries to bring people with him. And he got that from Aaron Donald, and he got that from Bobby Wagner.
That's awesome.
Wow. Jourdan Rodrigue covers the LA Rams for The Athletic and just crushes it. Really good stuff and great insight into the Titans' newest leader in this defense. Jourdan, we really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
talking to you this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's Jourdan Rodrigue, who does an excellent job
Yeah.
covering the National Football League. I like the element of Ernest Jones essentially being mentored by two of the best defensive players of this generation between Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner.